Hello, folks.
Hi!
Oh my god.
No, I'm not.
Don't do that.
Oh.
But it's okay. I'm gonna leave it in and people will wake up suddenly. Anyway, it's Saturday, still Gen Con. We're still in the hotel. We're gonna talk about Saturday. I'm gonna mention in advance that tomorrow, because we're leaving tomorrow, we're gonna do kind of a post Gen Con, or we're planning to do post Gen Con video as the ending of the vlog series for Gen Con. Of course, I recorded some fun stuff today, so I'm going to talk about that in a moment. Anyway, we're going to talk about Saturday, what we did today. As always, we woke up, we went to the halls to explore, though there's nothing really to explore anymore, for me at least. There was something to explore for you. And I'm going to now mention this one thing that I did today, is that I made... So I called Theo Riviere and Bruno Catala, who had a collaboration, made a game called Nagaraja. It's coming out in February, around February, in Cannes Festival. Not this year, because they already have the release of Kero, a two-player game. Hurricane is the company who makes this. And I made them explain the game on the video and play the game right after that. So the two designers who made the game played the versus game with each other. So this video is gonna be up on the channel, maybe before this video over here, maybe after, I don't know, somewhere there. Just keep an eye on the channel. Anyway, that will be an awesome video, because come on, Bruno Catala and Terry Riviere. But yeah, let's go to Gen Con itself, the day itself. What else have we done? Let's start with you. I was roaming around doing videos. What were you doing?
Am I allowed to talk again?
Yes.
All right. Well, I started the day by going into the hall and just walking around and trying to find things that looked interesting to me, try interesting demos. But my very first stop was to buy some pins. And so I bought some more pins for the gamer vest. You'll see I've got... well, you probably can't see them, but there's the Matriarch and Gloomweaver down there. I've been excited for those. I think I'm done with pins for a while.
Are you?
Well, we'll see if there's some good ones tomorrow.
That's good.
And yeah, so I started with that. I went into the Greater Than Games booth and took a look at the production copy of Oblivion. I'm hoping it's waiting for me when I get home.
So
it was
Oblivion is like just to tell briefly.
Yeah, Oblivion is the final expansion for Sentinels of the Multiverse. It's a big expansion. It only has really one main bad guy, but it's a huge epic battle. It's supposed to be very difficult, and it's supposed to be sort of the culmination of the entire years that Sentinels of the Multiverse has been out. It was my number 2 of the most excited, even though I knew that it wouldn't be sold here because they weren't going to sell it until after they had delivered to their Kickstarter backers. But I'm hoping that mine is waiting for me. It was very nice to see it. There's a lot of good stuff in that box.
Yeah.
And they also had the ultimate storage case there, which is going to store everything and more. And I was excited to go and take a look at that. And then I just went around and I tried every demo that I wanted to try that looked interesting, even demos that didn't look interesting. I just tried lots of games. I spent the whole day playing a bunch of games.
Yeah, we're going to talk about played games in a moment, but... Yeah. So I was, my goal was to roam around. I went through the halls, just recording the halls themselves. You're going to see that. It's like a small part of the vlog. Yeah, then I went to Osprey Games booth and I recorded so I'm not basically doing any previews this Gen Con except 2 was the Expand City, and then I did today I did a Cryptid. Cryptid was the name of it. Yeah, it's a new game. It's a deduction game, kind of like Tobago, something like that. Every player is given some kind of a clue, and then you're putting the cubes down to indicate your clue. So giving out some information, and you want to get to the treasure or something like that. So
to the monster.
To
find the monster.
To find the monster. Sorry.
Not to find the treasure.
Yeah, Tobago. I'm getting confused. But anyway, it's late already. But you're gonna see the video. There's the better explanation over there. And tomorrow, they told me that tomorrow the Martin Wallace be at the booth, so I'm gonna try to record Wildlands, if somebody's interested in Wildlands as well. It will be up on the channel at some point. So anyway, I did that. I did the recording. I talked to a few people. So I did the playthrough with of Nagaraja, which I'm like, I've seen this game played already the second time. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm super excited about this game now. I looked at this game, how it's played, exactly how it works, and I'm like, I'm gonna love it. I'm just gonna love it, even more than Carol probably. So yeah, that's that. And I don't know if I did something else at some point. I don't remember anything. I did some pictures, I just looked at games and talked to people. That was my day, and that's what I usually do in Essen as well. I just look around and see if I can get some people to talk with, some industry members or whatever, like people who I see once a year, and that's extremely cool to just chat with them and maybe talk about games and their future releases. I got some information on some Bruno Catala's new releases, so that's always exciting. So that was my day. So, but let's go to the games we played.
My list will be longer.
Yeah, but okay, let me just go briefly through my list of games that I played. So today, we played two rounds of Vendake.
Wendake.
Is it called Vendake, not Vindake?
I assume it's Wendake. That's how I've always heard it.
Okay.
It was one that I got on Kickstarter, a good 6, 7, 8 months ago.
Yeah.
And I got it, and it had quite the rule book. And I tried a couple of times to go through it, but I wasn't making any headway, and so I kind of put it away. So it was nice for me to sit down and have somebody sort of explain what's going on there to me. And, it says a lot. I read a lot of rule books, and I'm usually pretty good at figuring them out, but this one was very obtuse, at least in the way that it was explained. And so it was nice to sort of sit down and try and do it. You've got Indians, and you're sending them out to hunt beaver and to farm vegetables, and then you're using this track, and it's a 3x3 grid, almost like a tic-tac-toe grid.
Yeah, that one I liked. Yeah.
And you've got to put the action selection is, you can choose any actions you want, but they have to be in a line. So horizontally, vertically, diagonally. And then the ones that you use flip over and become much less powerful, and then everything shifts down, and the bottom row of actions goes away, and you pick one of them to get rid of, and you get a new upgraded action. And so
which
each
is like
turn,
more actions.
Yeah,
in
it's going to be better stuff that you can do, and all of those are unique. And so you're going to have different things you can do more efficiently. You're developing your action board as you go along. And although we only played 2 rounds of it, I could see how the full 7-round game would get very interesting.
Yeah.
As you sort of explored all these different possibilities. The scoring is sort of, you've got 2 tracks on one side and 2 on the other, and you're going to take the lowest score from each pair of tracks. So you're trying to figure out ways to get up the different tracks. It was very interesting, and I think it's going to be a really interesting game, the kind of game that I definitely like. Yeah. I'm excited to get home and try it again, the full version.
This is yet another, this themeless type dry Euro, where you have lots of symbols and going around. There are some interesting things, like, for example, I really like the 3x3 grid of actions. So this action selection kind of worker placement stuff. You need to do it in the line, you slide those down, they change places and so on. I like that stuff. But this is the mechanic I would implement in any other game with even better artwork as well. So I didn't like the looks. I don't know. The components are fine. The components are good quality. I like that all. But the overall thing you do on the board, you expand. You like the farms, you collect resources. It's just so old already. It's just.
And it has the strangest artwork. Did you look at the artwork on those cards?
The
Medicine Man cards? Yeah, these guys were making these really weird faces.
Yeah, masks, whatever. More like
It almost took you out of the game. The artwork on those cards. Not that it was bad, but it just looked like people pulling silly faces in a picture.
Yeah, I played only 2 rounds, so I don't know. I cannot judge the game roughly, but I already feel it's not the game for me, but it's not a bad game. One thing I'm gonna say, this scoring is uninspiring. Scoring is boring, in my opinion. I'd rather just gather points or something like that, do something else.
Scoring is usually the least exciting part of the game anyway.
In those games?
Getting points?
No, it depends on the dry Euro game. Anyway, yeah, so this is my experience with the...
And me, after
Vendaken.
2 rounds, I knew that it was a game that I would love to play, and I'm really excited to bring it out and inflict it on somebody the next chance I get.
Let's talk about some not so well received by us one game. I'm sure you didn't like it as well, or you probably didn't like it. It's Mesozoic.
Oh, I even forgot to put that one down.
Yeah, it's
Oh my goodness.
we played the Mesozoic is the Z-Man game release. So it's a game where basically you have a grid of those cards, and you move those cards around, like this.
It's a sliding puzzle.
Sliding puzzle, basically, yeah. You wanna combine things so the rows go to roads. These 2 pieces of a big attraction go together, and so on. You do it for a few rounds, few very boring rounds. Yeah, it's fast. You do it with one hand, but
It wasn't fun.
don't
at
get
all.
me wrong. This game is probably perfect for children of age 6, maybe something like that.
It's perfect if you like that kind of puzzle.
Children. It's a children's
I
game.
hated those puzzles when I was a kid too. I've always hated those things.
I like those
And I
puzzles.
always cheated with them.
Oh, I see.
I would take the pieces out and put it's kind of like a Rubik's Cube. You take the stickers off and put them on the other side.
I like those puzzles, but this game is for nothing. I mean, like,
Yeah, that was
then he said, "No, how much you score?" I didn't even care. And when I didn't even care playing the second round when
The scoring made no sense at all.
yeah.
Yeah, that one was not good. I'd give that one a definite thumbs down.
It's the game, definitive game of it's the children's game. It's a game for 6 years
Yeah,
old.
but it's not a children's game that's any fun. There are fun children's games. I Love Me.
Yeah.
One of the games on my list is definitely a children's game. But
The Dude game?
No,
Sure.
Arrive.
I'm kidding. Anyway.
I love me some good children's games if they're fun, but this wasn't fun.
yeah. All right.
So, thanks. I could put that on my list.
So I played only 4 games today. So Everdell.
Everdell. You want to show it?
Yes. Just bring
So
it down.
Everdell, this is the unopened, or this is not the one we played. We played mine. It is a game. It has a very large table presence. You've got
This is the sleeve, collector's
yeah, it
sleeve.
has a sleeve on it, but you've got this huge cardboard tree that really just holds the pieces. Kind of unnecessary, but
Yes.
really it's a card
Definitely
game.
unnecessary.
You've got a set of workers and you're placing them, and you're also building up a hand of cards, and you can play a card without using a worker. So
Yeah.
the more cards you're able to play, the more actions you're able to take over the course of the game. And the game is over when you've done your total number of actions. The first
Yeah.
round you've got 2 workers. And after those 2 workers, if there's nothing you can do, you move into the next season, ready or not. And if at the end of the game somebody else has been able to play more actions, you might be done before other people are, and you're just done.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but you've got these cards, and the cards are, first of all, they look great.
The whole production is great.
The
I mean,
artwork was
the
very
collector's
good.
box, I mean.
The collector's box was fine, but I think just looking at the art of the cards themselves,
Oh, yeah, it was adorable. It was like book type, this
very storybook-like.
like fairy tale-ish type.
Yeah, and so they looked good. They were easy to understand for the most part. The symbols were very easy. It was clear
Yeah.
what they cost, what they were worth. But you're just sort of figuring it out. And you've got each card has sort of there's the critter cards and the construction cards. And if you have a particular building, a construction, then the critter might be free. You just look up at the top and it says this one's free. And so you can sort of build a system where you're going to get all these to cascade in, and then find something that then takes a few out so that you can put some more in, because you're limited in the space that you have. You only have 15 cards on the table.
Yeah, there were a few things, like a few caveats. For example, the hand size limit that we talked about is that the hand size limit is 8. So if you want to draw cards, you have 7 cards. For example, you want to draw cards, you draw 3 cards. Let's say you can only draw one card and that's it. Usually in games where you go over your limit, you draw all the cards and then you discard 2 cards in order to get to your hand size limit, which is needed. In this game, in my opinion, this rule for me abysmal. I'm gonna just play with exceeding the hand size limit.
I think I just did a better job at managing than you. I never had to forfeit a single card draw in the whole game, because maybe I just saw the ways to sort of get them out and in, because there were lots of ways you could dump cards from your hand to get resources, and maybe I just.
But you took those actions though. I was looking at the same, but the thing is that some spots are just for one person.
That's true.
And you took some spots where I was like, I want to get rid of cards, and the other spot was only for the autumn, the last season. So that
ironically you didn't use.
At some point, I wanted to focus on things that I wanted to understand the game. So at first, the game was really, it kind of felt like I have nothing to do, like really nothing to do. But it's like an engine building, and then as you get to the 4th season, you're like, oh, I have like this and this and this and that. But I just didn't get the right cards into my hand.
I enjoyed it a lot, but I didn't really understand what I was doing until about a third to half of the way through. Yeah. And then it sort of turned on for me that this is what I've been supposed to be doing the whole game.
That second third clicked for me as well.
And then it was figuring out how to do that with the remaining time. I definitely like to try it again.
I can see a good game, yes.
To start playing it right from the beginning.
Yes.
and then maybe do better than I did. Yeah. But I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. I think it looked great. I don't think I'll have trouble getting anyone to play it. It's not very hard. The rules are very easy to do. So it's a plus for me. It's a thumbs up for me.
The caveat about this one is that mostly the rules are simple. It's just there are quite a few texts on the cards and abilities and such. So this interacts with this one. If you put this one, you can do this one and that one. There's kind of a crisscross thing over there. That might be, but if you go through that after playing 3 games of that, then you'll be fine. And this is one of the rare cases where after one play, I do understand that I might like the game, might not. This one was a rare case where I don't really understand if I like the game or not. If I will even like the game, if there is potential to like the game or not. I just don't know. But I kinda wanna warm up myself to I kinda want to like the game though,
Yeah, I definitely want to play it again. I'm also curious about the solo version. There were some solo rules. I was all set up to play, and then you showed up. And so that was fine. It also didn't take very long. It wasn't that long of a game. At least it didn't feel long.
Oh, for 2 players. I think it worked for 2 players.
For 2 it worked fine.
I think the 4 player would be great, because then there's like 2 spots in the forest for each. Then
Yeah, but I don't know. I think that might just add a bit more downtime. But we'll see. I guess it depends on the 4 players, as always.
As the downtime, though, it takes away more spaces and probably, it depends. Yeah. So I want to play with 4 players or 3 players.
3 players, I think, would be very cutthroat.
Oh,
I think because you don't add any extra spaces, and you have people competing for the same amount.
Andres already told me that he really wants to. He saw me having the game, so he really wants to try the game, like really. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna see that. So there'll be. So let's go to the next game, and Coma Wars is the next game we played. I'm gonna let you talk about the game because I know your verdict, but this is the Coma Wars.
This game was awful. This game was basically rolling dice for about an hour and a half and wondering what the rules meant. It was very cheaply produced. I didn't read the rules, you read them, but the artwork on the cards was not all that great. The components themselves were very bland. And the game itself it felt like every turn you just rolled a whole bunch of dice and hoped you succeeded. If you didn't succeed, you drew this card. And it just felt like the same thing on repeat. We eventually, we were supposed to open one box based on the result, but the result we had, we couldn't figure out which box it was. So we just picked one. And there's some problems with the rules. There's some problems with the components. And I just did not like the game. I didn't even like the end product. Even though I can appreciate a good story, the story wasn't even that engaging. So this is a definite 2 thumbs down from me.
Okay, so I'm going to go the other way. It's not like I'm gonna argue. It's a matter of taste. Yes, the rule book is the problem. I think and it's not about the game. It's about the rule book, which is a problem. So tomorrow I'm gonna go and see the designer or anyone else, and just tell him to teach me the game, so I know how to play it. No, not nicely. I paid a lot of money for that game, so no, I'm kidding. Anyway, so
yes, you did.
No, that's the thing. I tend not to like those dice checkers usually, but I kind of like this one, and it's not because I bought this one and spent money. I don't care if the game fails, I just sell the game. I don't care about that anymore. But this one, I kind of like the whole idea. So first of all, you're gonna go, you explore those rooms, and then if you fail, at least you draw the card, and it engages you into some kind of a decision, something. And this is like a Crossroads cards from Dead of Winter. This idea I love this very much. It has some other story elements. So it has the betrayal on the house on the hill, kind of this. It's kind of inspired from that. I'm sure
Definitely.
it is. You have the first stage, you have the second stage, which is phenomenon. Something happens, enemies come out, whatever. Yeah, there were some problems with the rulebook. I wanna play it the right way. That's the thing. I wanna see how it plays when I play it the right way. The same was with Apocrypha, was the one which had really bad rulebook, and I didn't really understand. But once I got to know how to play it the right way, I played it another time, and then I was like, well, it's not really a bad game. I like it much more. And it's usually like that. So sometimes rules get in the way of liking the game. And I think maybe we missed something. Maybe something else happened. But I like the whole idea of the hospital. You wake up, you search for clues and items. It's simple. To be honest, it's not that hard of a game. You know, like the rules are simple, the turns are quick. That's what I like about this one. I just, it's a mature survival horror type game, but on the lighter side, I can totally see my colleagues from work who are not gamers engaging into this one, liking this one very much.
Well, hopefully you won't bring that extra component that you had.
What?
The bug.
Oh, the bug, no.
He had a huge roach in the box.
Yeah,
it was gross.
It wasn't in the box. It just flew by. But anyway, I'm gonna see. I'm gonna talk to the designer and see, answer all my questions, and then I'm gonna play it again with my colleagues with another group and see how it fits.
I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you just get a lot of love out of it. But I am not gonna play that one again. That was not.
That's totally fine. There are games that I just don't like, and I will not play with you, but just that's a matter of taste. But the component side, just one thing about the components, it wasn't that bad. I've seen other games with, I don't know, if you look at Golden Ages, if you look at many Stronghold games, their components are abysmal, kinda. This one was fine. It was over average, but it wasn't great. Yes, it was fine. I can totally, because I'm into components, I'm into production very much, and this was fine for what it is. I like the minimalistic look.
Well, it was definitely minimalistic.
Yeah, I like that. It's kind of, I can see the approach. Well, but anyway.
That's one we're going to disagree on.
It's the same when I look at...
This one does not look good, but this one is amazing.
Oh, then this one
looks
boring, yeah. But I'm hoping for a great game here.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your games.
All right, we're going to talk about my list. So the first game I played that I have written down was Kickass from Cool Mini or Not Simon. It was a game, I saw the movie. I don't really read many comic books, so I wasn't super familiar with the intellectual property, but I was curious about the game because it seemed like it was a cooperative minis game, and it was. I did a demo. We did a full, a nice sit down at the table, play through it, and it was taught well, and the rules were fine, but it just wasn't very much fun. It was just kind of run around the board and roll dice and try and fight bad guys. And it just didn't really do it for me. Which is okay. I'm glad I played that one first because I could have seen I almost bought it. I'm glad I didn't do that.
It's like a dice chucking dungeon crawl type.
Yeah, it's cooperative, and you've got tasks that you've got to do. So, you've got to move around, and you've got to go to these places and pay $1 to remove the task marker. Meanwhile, you've got to fight the minions, because if they overrun, then you can't use certain abilities, and so it's you're sort of your standard dealing with some oncoming relentless threat while trying to take care of certain tracks and things. It just didn't have anything special for me. I think maybe if I had known the characters and had read a lot of comic books, maybe I would have loved it. But without the love of the IP, I don't think the game was strong enough to carry it for me.
Okay.
So that was Kickass. You didn't play it, but I don't think you would like it either. Next up was Good Critters. I had bought it before. I'd seen some people talking about it. Sat down and played through a game with, I think it was 6 of us at a table. Mm-hmm. And it was a lot of fun. It's sort of the negotiation style game. I think its closest comrade is probably Cash and Guns.
Okay.
So same size group, sort of same size of a dynamic, except we're not pointing guns at each other. You've got the boss turns over a certain amount of loot, and then he divides it up among the players however he wants.
Okay.
But if the players vote no, then the boss loses his status as boss, and it all goes back into the pot, and somebody else divides it up. And so everyone's going to play a card with a vote on it, and there's a yes or a no, and that's pretty easy. But where the fun comes in is that you can also you can play a skim card, and only the first person to play a skim gets to take a card off the deck just like that. Or you can go put your piece in front of somebody and sort of threaten them, and then if you play the rob card, then you rob them unless they play the guard card, and then they rob you. But neither of those is a yes or a no. So if you're doing that, you're not contributing to the vote. And so there's this interesting little play that's going on. You've got some negotiations you can do. You can say, hey, vote yes, and I will give you this money. Or you can do that however you want. And the boss has to be careful to sort of not give himself all the money, because then he'll be voted out. Yeah. It was very fast. I think the full game took less than half an hour, and that was with teaching. Rules are super simple. It will work with anyone who likes party type games, I think, that are more than your Happy Salmon or your trivia type games. With some real play going in, but maybe not into the Resistance hidden roll type thing. Mm-hmm. This was just sort of table think. A lot of fun. It looked good. Definitely a plus for me.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to be talking about lots of games. Yeah, you didn't play it.
Yeah.
And we can't play it together because it won't be good with 2. Next one I played was a game that was on my top 10 list called Arrive. I have it over there on the bed. It is Cthulhu Twister, which is a very accurate way to describe it. Basically, you've got you play in teams. One person is the cultist and one person is the Great Old One. The cultist has this little card with different spaces that need to be touched by the Great Old One on essentially a twister board that's made out of these nice neoprene mats. The box is super heavy too, because it's all this neoprene. And then the Great Old Ones are out there. You'll say, okay, put your right foot on the church, and the Great Old One is doing that. But to make it more complicated, first of all, you have to have 5 spots covered to win. And each player only has, 4 appendages, so you've got to convince another Great Old One to touch that one for you. Mm-hmm. But more importantly, you've got special abilities. Yeah. Like the one that I had was that I was untouchable, and anytime somebody touched me, like physically with their body, I banished their limb from where it was. Okay. So it's very crazy, very silly. Not going to be for everyone for sure. Definitely not. You got to have sort of the twister interaction, up close and personal touching time that you do with Twister. But there's no spinner, so it's not the randomness of Twister. There's definitely some game there. It was just, it was so silly and so funny, and it was everything that I wanted it to be. Definitely one that I would love to play often, although I doubt that I'll be able to, because it requires a very special group and the right location. You can't just play that at any game day. Yeah. But for the right group, definitely Arrive was a keeper.
Okay.
All right, and we'll try and keep these short. Next was Summit. Now, if you look at the Board Game Geek hotness list, Summit is number 1. And
The Gen Con hotness list, yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So it's the Gen Con buzz list is what it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Summit is number 1. And I was like, what is this game? I thought it was an older game. It came out last year.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, it is older games. 2016 game,
I
though.
think the reason it's probably on the
2017,
top of the
sorry.
list is because it's right next to the Board Game Geek booth. And so people are probably just seeing it and putting it down when they're voting for the buzz. It's okay. It's a cooperative or competitive game. The cooperative game, which is what I played, is very take that. I mean, and it's take that. You've got these interesting triangle tiles. It looks great. The production's nice. I enjoyed it. There's an expansion out called The Yeti that involves, well, a Yeti. And and it's okay. It's a good game. I don't think it's one that I'll need to play again, though. I think once was probably enough. I didn't hate it, didn't love it. I just kind of felt neutral about it. That was Summit.
I saw it 2 years ago in Essen 2016, I think, when he pitched me the game, and I've been looking at this game for years now, and I haven't pulled the trigger because I feel like this is not enough for me. It's not. If I I feel like cooperative game doesn't interest me. Competitive is just so mean. Yeah, there are some karma points, whatever. Like it comes back
you're
at you.
playing the cards, and if you play cards that are bad at you, it drops you down the track, and that is going to be negative points for you at the end of the game.
But I mean, I don't like one thing I don't find appealing is the board is quite ugly for my opinion.
Oh, I think it's a gorgeous production. I think the board is it's very.
I saw the
very
production is
severe.
good, but the board, the art itself.
The art is great for me.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I think, from a pure how does it look standpoint, aesthetic standpoint, it's definitely a win. I mean, if I had seen it, I probably would have bought it sight unseen because it definitely looked great.
Definitely, it's a Kickstarter game. It is, though.
And I would like to try the cooperative maybe sometime to see if maybe that changed it a little bit. But I don't know if it'll compete with K2, which is also out there and which I think I like more.
K2 is competitive, but it's more like a race.
But K2 is more fun.
Yeah, frustrating but fun. I like K2, yes. And I think, is K2 easier? Probably.
Yeah, it's easier, I think. Well, I don't know. Well, it's been a while since I played K2, but doesn't matter. That was Summit. It was okay. Next up, from the same people, and on the next table over, was Gorras Maximus. Gorras Maximus is one that you kind of have to see. I hope you'll be able to put the art up here, because the art is very...
I'm going to use the pictures, yeah.
Striking. It displays this very bloody scene of like some guy decapitating somebody else with a sword in the arena. Yeah. The name doesn't lie. Gorras Maximus. Every card is very bloody, but it's a cartoon kind of bloody. It's this Kwanchai Moria. He did a great job on the artwork. In terms of the game, it's a trick-taking game. Yeah. And I always say I don't like trick-taking games, and then I end up playing them and liking them, and this is one that I liked. This was, you've got... The interesting thing in this game is essentially that the trump is able to change. And it's definitely better with more players, because you're not playing to try and win as many tricks as possible.
Just keep talking.
You're playing to try and get as many of these crowd favor points as possible. And so some of the cards are worth a lot of points, some are worth negative points, and so if you win the wrong ones, you're not going to do very well. Yeah. And so there's a lot of this interplay and trying to pick the right time to play your good card, and then the ability to change the trump by playing the same number of a different suit. It was a great game. I'm excited for it to come. I'll have it through the Kickstarter eventually, but
so we have 8 minutes on this.
8 minutes.
Yes.
Oh.
To talk about.
Well.
Then I can change the SD card.
Change the tape. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we can knock through some of these pretty fast. I played Fluff. Fluff was Liar's Dice. It was as fun as Liar's Dice is, which is not very fun. Princess Ming. Princess Ming is an interesting little game. Ying? Is it Ying?
Yes,
okay.
with J.
Princess Ying. All right. Well, you've got this little mirror and you're moving it around and trying to see behind people. It seems interesting. It seems like it's an interesting gimmick. It looks good on the table, but it's there are other of these sort of abstract, chessy games that I think I like more.
Yeah. Wait, we're gonna be back in a few moments.
Okay. All right. So after Princess Ying,
Jing, I don't know.
I don't know.
It's with J though.
Next, I played a game called Rainbow Nights. Rainbow Nights was a lot of fun. You've got these little transparent square cards, and each one has a path on it. And basically, you say go, and you just place the cards, one card after the other, on top of each other, trying to go as far as you can before you hit something and have to stop. And whoever gets the farthest is going to win. Whoever gets rid of the most of their cards. It literally took 2 minutes to play.
Oh my!
I mean, it was a lot of fun. I don't know that everyone needs it. I don't know that it's going to blow your mind, but it was a lot of fun and a great way to spend 2 minutes.
Here.
So definitely a positive experience there. Let's see. I have... Oh, yes. I have Dude.
Dude.
So, Dude, I happen to have here.
And more Dude. Dude.
Dude is the game where you say Dude.
Dude.
And this is from the same people, so it's from North Star Games, so Happy Salmon people. And it's definitely in the Happy Salmon vein. What you do is everyone has a deck of cards, and the cards have Dude written in different ways. And you are supposed to stand around in a circle saying, Dude, Dude. There's, for example, there's a Dude that has, it's a little one, and so you're supposed to figure out a way to make Dude convey that it's the small one. There's Dude with the word with a question mark after it, so Dude. Anyway, everybody's just sort of standing around in a circle saying, Dude, Dude, until you think that you've matched with someone, that someone's holding the same card. Then you'll look at each other in the eyes, and you'll say, sweet.
Sweet.
You'll each say sweet, then you'll show each other the card. If it's a match, you put it in your score pile. If it's not, you throw it into the middle of the table. And then you go on to the next card. When you're out of cards, you say, chill. And then whoever has the most cards in their score pile wins. Very silly game. A lot of fun, though. And then there's an expansion that has even more ways to say Dude. It has Pizza Man Dude and Ghost Dude.
Dude.
It's just a lot of... I mean, it was a lot of fun. It took, just a few minutes to play. And I can see it working well. Basically, it's going to be one of those games where you want to play something silly, and people are going to get mad at you for playing Happy Salmon. So you can play this one.
That's something I want to get to play with my colleagues from work. They're gonna love it.
Yeah, and it was cheap. It was $10 for each one.
I need a big crowd. Oh yeah, $10.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna pick it up tomorrow.
You won't, because I got the last one.
Oh, you got the last one? Both of them?
I think they have some of the expansion.
But you can probably play...
You can play either one, and you can mix them. You could get just the expansion if you needed it.
I'm going to ask them. Maybe they have it somewhere in distribution. I'm going to get it
Or
later.
It could be that mine was the last one for today, and there's more for tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't know. But Dude was a lot of fun. It was a lot more fun than it should have been. But it was... I had a great time with Dude.
Dude. With me.
Then the next one I played was Reef.
Reef
is an abstract game from Plan B / Next Move. Plan B, of course, the worst name for a game company you can imagine. But it's a great game. It's the definite follow-up from your Century Spice Road, or from the same designer, actually, or your Azul, different designer, but still very short, very simple, light. Rules light, but gameplay heavy. You've got this row of cards, and each card has some different colored reef pieces, and you'll take some cards, and then when you play the card, you'll get those pieces, put them onto your little table, and then you'll look and see if you've made a certain pattern for scoring.
Yeah.
And if you've made the pattern more than once, then you score more than once. So there's a whole lot of decisions like, do I want to take a bunch of small cards that are worth just a few points, but I can score them really quickly and just sort of run through that way? Or do I want to save up and just have a big score? And that's what I did. I had a card where I got, 4 points for every stack of three green, and that's, a level 3 stack with a green on top. And I got it to the point where I had 5 or 6 of those before I scored it. And then another one I had for, level 4 stacks, and I got 5 or 6 of those. And then I just had a huge point income. And it was a close game, but I ended up winning by a few points by doing that. I don't know that it would work that way every time. I think it's a great game. I think it's one that will be very popular, will do very well. They had 10 demo tables.
Simple side like Azul.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And that will speak with a lot of people. I know my family, my mother, my grandmother, my sister will like it. I can see a lot of people really liking this game, and I am definitely one of them. I didn't buy it because I pre-ordered one a long time ago, so I'm glad that I like it, but it comes with some fish that make it a little bit more complex. I don't know what they do yet, but they'll be arriving at my door shortly, I hope.
Yeah. So you said the designer is...
Emerson.
Emerson Matucci, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one who made...
So he did Century and
Spectra
Spectre Ops and Volt. And I don't know what else he's done, but those are the 3 that I know.
Volt is basically a forgotten game.
Well, Volt is being reprinted. It's being redone. It's a new edition by a different publisher is coming out. Oh. He self-published it the first time. Volt was actually pretty good, but nobody really played it.
Yeah, I know that it's a forgotten game, though.
But it is coming back this year.
Probably with revised things.
Yeah, it'll probably be nicer, too. The old one definitely had the self-published components. But it's a good game. I like Volt, and I'm excited that it'll come out and hopefully be marketed properly, and then it can do well.
Let's.
So that was Reef.
Yeah, let's go to the next one.
Then I think, let's see, I did those. I'm just checking my list here. I think the last one I had was Nyctophobia. That was a lot of games I played today.
Yeah.
That's Nyctophobia. Nyctophobia was my number 3 on my Gen Con excitement list.
Yeah.
And Nyctophobia is awesome. Nyctophobia does not look great, right? It's very stark. It's a black board with these white plastic pieces on it. But the reason it doesn't look great is because most of the players don't look at the board at all through the whole game. So I guess they don't need to put a lot on there. It's supposed to be sort of dark and stark, and you can see from the cover. I mean, it's got this this bloody axe. This box has 2 ways to play. We just played the basic axe murderer way. Your basic axe murderer. There's another version that has a vampire, and then there's a mage in here that you can play with as well that has some slightly different cards. But basically, everyone's wearing blackout glasses so that they can't see the board, and one person who's not wearing them is the murderer, the hunter, and is trying to catch them, trying to attack them and kill them.
Yeah.
And they're trying to find their way to the car. And when it's somebody's turn, for example, if it were your turn, if I were the hunter, I played the hunter because I was teaching the game. I would take your hand and I would put it on your piece. And then you would feel in the 4 basic directions from your piece to see what you felt. And then you would move your piece 2 spaces, and after each space you'd also feel around, and when you got to the end you'd feel around. You could do some other stuff. You can throw a rock to try and hit something, but if you hit one of your friends, that hurts them, and if you hit the hunter, then it hurts him, so that's a good thing. And you're really just, the players are communicating and saying, oh, I feel trees to my, to the north. You have to use the cardinal directions, and they're set out above the board. And if you forget which way is west, you can ask the hunter, and he'll tell you, west is, to your left or whatever. So that you don't forget, because you really can't see. One silly thing about it is it comes with player aids, like for the individual players.
Oh.
Which is just funny because they can't see them at all through the whole game. I thought that was an interesting component choice. But basically, the hunter has to attack each person, or has to kill one person, hitting him twice. And the people have to get to the car. And if one of those things happens, their side wins. But it's just really interesting to watch people, because there's just this interesting thing that happens when you can't see. And you're trying to make decisions based on what you remember. And I'm assuming completing this visual model of what's around you. The cards, though, make it even more interesting, because it says, hunter, taunt the person with a person who's wounded, or hunter, tell 2 lies, or hunter, tell a truth and a lie.
Okay.
And so I did them about the gameplay, like the car is to your north. There is a wall. There is a tree 2 spaces away from you, that kind of thing. And then the people don't know if you're telling the truth or not. The rule book suggests jumping up and saying, sneaking around beside people and shouting boo and stuff. I didn't do that because I didn't know the people I was playing with.
Yeah. It would be, if you don't know, don't do that. Yeah.
But I could see with the right group, I really want to play it as the hunted. I think it will be more fun that way. I think the vampire one is actually going to be more fun. I read the rules. This one, if you're next to the hunter, he attacks you. Mm-hmm. Or if you're the axe murderer, he can attack through the trees.
Okay.
He chops down the trees and attacks you. But the vampire doesn't attack you unless you touch him. So like he hangs out behind you, and when you feel around for what's there, if you touch him, then he strikes you.
Okay.
And I could see that creating an extra layer of terror and frustration for people, because they're like, I don't know if I want to feel around because there might be a vampire there. And you've got this vampire like there. The pieces themselves are very basic. Each player piece has like a different symbol in the top. One's a triangle, one's a cross. But that's so that you can tell what it is by touch. Like, hey, I'm touching the right one.
Yeah.
And it's very stark looking. It's black and white with a little bit of red in the rule book, but it's a lot of fun. It's something that I am very excited to play again. The problem is that you need the right group. This is not going to be for everyone. You can tell by looking at that cover that it might not be for you. But it's a game that conveys the whole horror aspect, I'm assuming, in a really good way for the people who are subject to it.
All right. So that's Nyctophobia.
And that's the list of my games today.
Yeah, a lot.
It was a good day for gaming.
Yeah, it was my good day for filming something as well.
Yeah,
so,
you might not know it, but we kind of split up today, and I went and played games while he went and filmed stuff.
I had to do some work. So anyway, so that's it for today. Definitely watch all our vlog series. Some might be longer. For example, this video might be like something under an hour, but come on, it's like a podcast. This will be separate videos where you can just see. I'm going to put some pictures in as well, so you can see the components and the box. But yeah, that's how it is.
And if you're bored, turn it off.
Yeah, but like we're not just talking about just explaining the game. We are giving our kind of a first impression opinions on all of those games. So you can definitely find much useful information about some of the games that were released during Gen Con. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. For tomorrow, it's wrapping up basically. It's not buying anything, just recording some stuff and then wrapping up and then seeing if I can fit everything in my luggage, so it will not be overweight. So yeah, that's that for me. Yeah, for you probably the same. It's just gonna pack up and see.
Yeah, I'm gonna pack my stuff probably after we're done with this video. I want to make sure everything fits. I'm ideally not buying anything tomorrow, although I said that today and bought 4 or 5 things.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I can trust myself. But hey, there was a new expansion for Clank. What can I do? Anyway, I've had a great time. I've gotten a lot of good games. I've tried a lot of good games. I've tried a few bad ones, but that's also good. Yes. It means every bad game I play here is one bad game my friends don't have to play with me.
True that. Yeah. And that's it. So we see you another time. Thank you for watching.
Good night.
Good night. Yeah. Bye. I don't know. Bye anyway. Yeah.
I guess you don't have to go to sleep if you don't want.
Oh yeah. This channel is sponsored by Osprey Games. Check them out at ospreypublishing.com.